How are you doing? This is Alex, and on this episode, we're going to be discussing a very serious thing that happened back in 2008. If any of you are from Atlanta and you lived in Atlanta in 2008, all of you will probably remember the tornado that came through Atlanta. I think it was March 14th, and I think it was about 9 o'clock at night. Well, what you guys don't know that one of my restaurants was in the direct path of this tornado. One of our restaurants in downtown Atlanta, basically our valets were working. We had 2 valets on shift that evening, and we had probably about 50 or 60 cars or so. And what happened, the valet felt the storm coming in. And it wasn't too bad, so what they did, they just sat in their car and just kind of let the storm pass. But while they were sitting there, it was shaking the car, and it was violently shaking the car. And at a certain point, when they saw the 125-pound podium go flying away, they knew they were in serious trouble. They figured out that there was a tornado, so what these guys did, they went flying. They went sprinting inside of the restaurant. But the thing is, the restaurant wasn't right there. The restaurant was at least 1, maybe even 2 football fields away. So these guys had to sprint as fast as possible and get inside this restaurant. So when they get inside the restaurant, they're freaking out because everybody is calm. Everybody's still sitting there eating. And what they don't realize, this is in the old part of Atlanta. So a lot of these old buildings were constructed with cinder blocks and bricks. And honestly, not like the wood and the 2x4s that you see today that break apart so easily. So what happened, the people inside didn't even realize what was going on. So when the valets got inside, one of the valets instinctually, and I know this is bad, and this is going to be very stereotypical, but it was one of my black valets, and he had dreads, and he told everybody, "Get on the floor." And the manager came out the back, and he was pissed, like, why in the world is the valet telling everybody to get on the floor? Then 5 seconds later, one of the back windows busts out from the pressure of the storm. It turns out the storm is actually... So what they categorized the storm as was an EF2, which basically means it had speeds up to and winds as fast as 135 miles per hour. That's severe. For something to move a podium that weighs 125 pounds, that had to be some serious force. And we actually have some video from the restaurant showing the force. It wasn't much, but it was showing the garbage cans and the garbage bags go flying by, but it showed the severity of this storm and how quickly it came, and nobody anticipated it. Nobody knew it was coming, and especially downtown Atlanta. I think the earlier one before that might have been 25, 30 years earlier. So it shocked everybody. But anyway, the valets get inside the restaurant, tell the people to get on the floor. Once that happens, the window busts out, everybody does get under the table. It lasted for about, I think they said about 30 seconds or so, and it shook the restaurant so bad at that point. We have to be honest, the restaurant was extremely lucky because it was truly in the path of this destruction of this tornado, but it didn't affect the restaurant the way it affected some of the surrounding buildings. And you've heard this before, where tornadoes will rip through trailer parks and destroy everything but leave one trailer standing. The restaurant was kind of like this. The restaurant didn't physically get touched, only the wind blew out one of the back windows, and the podium got pushed around and some other garbage and trash got pushed around. But beyond that, the restaurant really didn't take any brunt compared to, I think there was another building that had the roof ripped off. I think CNN was less than a mile away. There's another place called the Western Hotel. They had all their windows blown out, not all, but quite a few windows blown out. So this really affected Atlanta big time, and I didn't realize the path went straight through our parking lot. So this was very serious. Unfortunately, I would say 2 people passed away, and I think those happened because of trees getting uprooted and falling onto people's houses. I think overall it was probably $250 million worth of damage, but this was a serious case. Now, back to the valet parking side, since the keys did go flying inside the podium, we had to take up time to clean up and figure everything out because, of course, people wanted to leave immediately after this happened. Well, now the keys are now scattered. Some are in the parking lot. Most of them are contained in the key box. But one of the cars got damaged because when the podium went flying, it hit I believe it was a Lexus LS430. Now, fortunately, the damage wasn't very severe, and all it basically did was scratch the front bumper. The lady was very nice. She didn't really care that much about the car. I told her I would come over and buff out the damage, and I was able to do so to her satisfaction. So she wasn't really upset about it to that extreme, but this is something extremely dangerous that happened, and I would have never imagined in a million years it could have happened in our parking lot.